Welcome to No Filter Boxing. This week we go inside the training camp of Billy Joe Saunders as he prepares for life at super middleweight under new trainer Ben Davison.
29 to 31 now is your prime. I'm not going to get any better. This is going to be my peak years. Them 2 years, I've got a window and I have to make it count. So, you know, if I can get another 8 fights in, I'll be over the moon.
And when Billy Joe's on form, he's a very, very hard man to beat.
He's focused and he's training harder than I've seen him, and he's more focused and he's happy than I've seen him in a long while.
We'll also visit Ant Crolla as he talks through his career to date and fighting one of boxing's best, Vasyl Lomachenko.
I've never been tasered, but I can imagine it was something like that. And I remember being on the floor, I remember being embarrassed, thinking, this doesn't look good.
And we go behind the scenes at Madison Square Garden as pound-for-pound star Terence Crawford faced Amir.
Some people call it the Mecca of boxing, the spiritual home of boxing. I just think it's the most iconic venue.
Big fights at the Garden could be on the agenda for Billy Joe Saunders as he looks to make a statement on May the 18th against Shafat Asufi.
The last 18 months has been a big roller coaster really for me in boxing. Brilliant ups, extremely lows. Ups where you think, you know, can only get a little bit higher, and lows where you think, I can't dig my way up. You know, you've got to have a lot of trust in God and in yourself and self-belief and the people around you. I'm lucky enough, obviously, to have MTK around me, my management, and obviously Frank Warren and BT Sport. You know, and to provide an homecoming in Stevenage football ground. You know, you might get a lot of people going, oh, you know, he's bigger than that, but personally myself, Stevenage football ground holds like 10 or 11,000. And if I can sell that out there, a homecoming, that's really like my homecoming since I've been pro. It's in my next town over, my next, you know, it's 7 miles away. It'd be like a little mini dream come true, really. Probably be up there with the most exciting venues I've boxed at. 2019 for me now is sink or swim. It's one of them that I have to really, really excel, or you know, it's not gonna happen. So I need to. That's the reason why I moved to 12 stone, to open up another door. You know, we've got some brilliant fighters at 12 stone in the UK, and if that don't work out, then I'm going to try to put myself in a position at super middleweight that I can drop down in a mandatory again for a big title at middleweight. So I'm just trying to give myself. You know, I've got maybe 2 years left in the sport. I'm trying to maximise my opportunities the best way I can. I'm with Ben Davison now, working away this camp. You know, I've put a lot of trust in him, same as he has with me. Worked with him for a long time. We're working on some different things. I just can't afford to have another 2018, most definitely not, because, you know, it could be career threatening.
He's had a tough year, and you know, for whatever reason, but he's back on form. He knows he needs to push on now, so he's up against it. He knows what he needs to do, and he's getting the work done. And when Billy Joe's on form, he's a very, very hard man to beat.
He's focused and he's training harder than I've seen him, and he's more focused and he's happy than I've seen him in a long while. Everything's going really well. We're bouncing off each other in camp.
Me and Tyson go back when I was driving the Mondeo and he was driving a Full Focus years ago, when we was, you know, teenagers and on the England squad and sharing a room together, and you know, we go back a long, long way.
They sort of bounce off each other, as I knew they did when the roles were reversed. So I just expected it to naturally occur that way. Tyson's been a good help and a good motivation to Billy Joe, and vice versa when they need it.
I know what it's like to be with a team that you're not comfortable with, or you're not bouncing off each other anymore. There's no motivation there. I've been there, so I know where Billy's come from. So I know now that he's happy. He's happy in the gym. He flows. He's got a good relationship with Ben and all the boys, Isaac and me. And we've got a good team, you know. We've got top featherweight, top super middleweight, and a top heavyweight, and a top trainer. So do we need any more? I don't think we do. We're going to conquer the world.
Ping jab, ping jab, ping jab, ping jab. And then I think, the best of me is yet to come. I know that. I know that in my own body, my own soul. I can put my hand on my heart and say that the best of me is yet to come. And the only thing is with someone like me is that it's very hard for a southpaw to get a slick southpaw who moves, you know, and hits and don't get hit. It's very hard to get a big fight in the States because they want to see blood, sweat, tears and smashed face, and I'm not in it for that. The only thing I can do is keep on winning. If I keep on winning and one of them big ones is in my way and I'm mandatory or so, then so be it, we'll get it on. But I'm sure that, you know, this year is the year that I can make it happen. 29 to 31 now is your prime. I'm not going to get any better. This is going to be my peak years. Them 2 years, I've got a window and I have to make it count. So, you know, if I can get another 8 fights in, I'll be over the moon.
He beats this Vasyl Fury for the super middleweight WBO belt. Then he can fight whoever he wants. You know, he's ticking off the box. He always wanted to box at Stevenage Football Club. It's his hometown where he's from. And I believe he's going to put on a great performance.
He hasn't been beat at super middleweight. He's boxed at cruiser. He's never a cruiser. Since he's been super middleweight, he's had 15, won 15, knocked like 13 out. You know, he's obviously been doing his job under wraps, and they're always the ones you have to watch. There's only a little bit of footage of him, and you know, his boxing is not particularly great, but he's still doing his job on them. So, you know, you've got to take it out to him, and I have to go about my business as a professional and deal with him accordingly.
He's not got a big name. If you don't go and do a good job on him and look good, all of a sudden it's a bad thing. And if you go and blast him away, it's not credit to you. He just wasn't that good. So it's sort of you can't win in that sort of situation. It's sort of a lose-lose, but it's a step that we need to get past and do a professional job on, and that's what we're going to do.
With Ben, I think that it's enjoyable, and you have to enjoy this sport. It's a lonely sport as it is. You know, I don't see none of my children. You know, I've got 4 children. When I'm in camp, I don't see any of them. It's like training. You know, I'm lucky if I get to see them. So, you know, you really got to make this time count. And I've learnt that with age. You know, maturing a little bit. And Ben's very mature for his age, and you know, he won't take no flapping about. It is what it is. And he knows he visualised what we've got to do, a game plan or training system, and we stick to it.
I've always said Billy Joe can punch, but you know, he's obviously a very slick boxer, and his elusiveness is a massive asset. So he doesn't need to plant his feet, sit in front of somebody, and show that he's got the power. He can outskill people, and without taking silly chances. And I think all fighters, if they could box without taking any shots, obviously that's the route they'll take. But not everybody's skilled enough to be able to do that. Billy Joe is one of them.
If I prove myself at super middleweight, give me a big fight. If not, I'll drop back down. If I become world champion, which I know I will at super middleweight, I know I'll become world champion. Whether that's beating Ramirez or whatever that may be, I will be world champion at super middleweight. Then, you know, if there's no other big fights for me at super middleweight, then I'll drop back down. When I've got that title, and I'll be mandatory for whoever has got the middleweight title. And but I want Andrade. He's the one that I want. Andrade's not good enough to beat me. I know that. He knows that. You know, I got Twitter messages from him. Oh, you know, he was happy, like, good luck with his career, good luck with that move, and you can just tell. He knew. But, you know, there was big talk about him and, you know, his last couple of fights, and I know what I do to Andrade. But the only reason why I want to go back to him because I was never beaten in the ring as a world champion. I was robbed. I was robbed at it. So I want to go back and prove myself. And I will.
Billy Joe Saunders.
Join us after the break as we look back at Crawford versus Khan at the famous Madison Square Garden. And we go inside the home of Ant Crolla as he talks Lomachenko and his career to date.
It was the first time in a boxing where I thought, I can't really do out about this. I haven't got an answer to this. I'll give it everything. I'm not the most talented fighter out there, and I've done far more than what fighters, if it come down to talent, should have done more than me. I believe I've got the best out of what I've got. Yeah, I can walk away from the sport with no regrets and mainly happy memories, and boxing's been very good to me.
Welcome back to No Filter Boxing. We go behind the scenes on Fight Night in New York shortly, but first we visit Ant Crolla. He's enjoyed an eventful career, including recently sharing a ring with Vasyl Lomachenko. Anthony, you've been over to Staples Center, Los Angeles, and you fought Vasyl Lomachenko, who some people are saying is the very best fighter in the world. Do you agree with that?
I think I do now. I certainly do now. I think going out to, foreign out to the Staples, over to LA, my opinion was it was out of him and Terence Crawford. Yeah, I think when you look what he did, not just professional, as an amateur, it was just under 400 fights. One loss, which he avenged against a fantastic fighter. You know, when you look at that and how he's going through the weights, then yeah, I think he is the best fighter on the planet.
But you went over there with the belief that you were going to cause an upset.
Yeah, I genuinely went over there believing I could win, believing I could shock the world, but I really believed that I could ask some serious questions, and I've got no excuses. Everything went fantastic over there. Weight was good, felt in the best shape I'd been in. And that's what made it hard to take after it, because just how easy he dealt with me. Well, first round went according to plan. There wasn't much in it. I know not much was landed, but when he went through the gears, at the end of round 2, I think it was, and certainly in round 3, it's the first time in a boxing where I thought, I can't really do out about this. I haven't got an answer to this. I believe I've been in with, like I say, British level fighters, European, world level fighters, elite fighters, and even in the second and Irish fight, a fight that I lost well, I still felt comfortable going forward, looking to get my shots off. And when Lomachenko raised his game for that first time in 20 odd years in boxing, I felt, there's nothing I can do about this. I think all the time should have tried to put it on him earlier, but then maybe I would have walked on to a shot that finished it a bit earlier. No matter what I brought that night, no matter what I tried to or how well I'd done it, I believe he would have had the answer to us.
The finishing punch caught you high on the side of the head.
Yeah, around sort of the temple area.
Did you know that was it when he hit you? That it was game over.
The frustrating thing was I knew I was never going to beat the 10 count. One of my friends who was ringside, he said, "I saw your body sort of lock out." And I've never been tasered, but I can imagine it was something like that. And
nothing you could do.
And I remember being on the floor, I remember being embarrassed, thinking, this doesn't look good.
Who can beat Lomachenko?
At lightweight, I don't believe anyone will. I think what will beat him is just chasing that greatness of going up in the weights.
What happens now for you?
I wouldn't like to go out like that. I wouldn't like to go out like that. It's not the nicest way to go out. I believe I'll certainly have another fight. It's but you've got to see once count starts and that. I mean, I love boxing, you know that, and one of my best mates, he's dead honest, and he says, I don't believe you are short in any way, he says, but you wouldn't have knew that fight because you didn't get the chance to show much. He didn't let you. I don't believe I've got anything left to prove. I've achieved my dreams of becoming a world champion. People, especially Lucas, I'd love to see you fight Manchester one more time, and I think I'm leaning more towards that, but I've not made any decision just yet.
Either way, it's been terrific, hasn't it? Because you've had this marvellous story, which was, you've been very successful before, but then obviously you hit the headlines in the news in, when was it, 2013, 2014?
Yeah, December 2014.
When you actually caught someone breaking into your neighbour's property next door, and you were assaulted and hospitalised and nearly didn't fight again.
Yeah, that's like from them days I look back on, and it looked very unlikely. Certainly when I was in the hospital bed with the injuries that I had, it was very unlikely I was going to fight again, never mind have these big nights in the Manchester Arena and in Los Angeles. It's something I'll never ever forget, something that makes all the hard work worth it.
Whether you choose to stay in the sport or step away from the sport, you've got to be happy with what you've done.
Yeah, because I'll give it everything. I'm not the most talented fighter out there, and I've done far more than what fighters, if it come down to talent, should have done more than me. I believe I've got the best out of what I've got. Yeah, I can walk away from the sport with no regrets and mainly happy memories, and boxing's been very good to me.
And what happens after boxing?
I'm going to miss being a boxer. I love the sport, I love the sport. Like I say, I've got my old amateur gym now. I'll help out more there. Boxing changes so many lives for the whether you win a world title, whether I see it all the time, whether it's a kid who's never going to fight, and just gives them that bit of confidence. And yeah, I want to be involved in that, and I want to stay involved in boxing. I will stay involved in boxing.
So how long have you had this place?
So I've had this for around probably mid-February.
And this is the home of, now the home of Fox ABC, which is what got you started.
Yeah, it's been a huge part of my life, and one of, if not the biggest reason, Fox and Jimmy Lewis, the head coach here, who's been here for 40 years or more.
So were you an amateur here?
I didn't actually train here because we've been moved around. We was like travellers, we moved everywhere. It was this club, yeah, it was this club under Jimmy. Decent gym, just got a few things to add.
Got some space on the wall for
By
your
the way, I
posters.
didn't have that put up. Someone done it as a gift. I would never put a thing up for myself. But I had no idea. The lad was here. I was here training the kids, and the lad was here. But I thought it was just skimming the walls or something. It shows you how much I know about DIY. And then he'd skim the wall, and I had no idea he was doing this. And I come back, and I thought, that's me, that.
So you're not going to get one of this in the new house then?
No, you don't understand what my mates are like. Like the moment they seen it, like they're only doing what they're going, wow, the ego on you.
So why do you do this when you don't have to? Is it to make a difference in people's lives?
I find it rewarding when you, like I say, I see the improvement in a young boxer. And yeah, I remember being that kid himself, wishing there was, I mean, listen, I never had it hard. I'm never going to say that, but there was probably times when I was younger and I wish there was someone there to give me a bit more time in the gym. And around this area, it's a pretty tough area, so we get a load of kids who walk in and it gives them some focus, so it keeps them out of trouble. So in a way, yeah, I suppose that does help with the community for sure, yeah.
How have you maintained that sort of schoolboy-like passion for it?
I honestly couldn't tell you. It's the boxing bug, the boxing drug, it's just got me.
When you're here and you're either working with the kids or you're in your corner of the world,
yeah.
Is it surreal what you've done and what you've achieved?
It's mad, you know what? Just the lads, some of the lads come in and, you know, for the last few years and when I've boxed and they're all buzzing to get the tickets and then when I come in on the Monday after the fight and they're all buzzing to see you and hopefully it inspires some of them. I think it does.
And now you need to figure out if you want it as much as you did want it several years ago.
That's what I've got to have a good think about. It's not that I'm questioning it because I don't believe I've got a quitting bone in my body. I've achieved everything I wanted to do. And maybe it is just choosing the exit. Maybe it is. I know how much I'm going to miss it when it's gone. And it's half dawned on me a little bit then when you just asked me. And I say this all the time, but that feeling of walking out, I know, even if I train fighters on my own, that's a feeling I'll never ever get back once it's gone. I want to be an example to these, you know, to these young lads and girls who come in the gym. I say it all the time, boxing can take so much from you, and I want to, while my health's still good, while I'm still speaking sense, I think you want to get out at the right time.
Big Time Boxing was back at the famous Madison Square Garden recently as Terence Crawford faced Amir Khan for the WBO welterweight world title. We leave you with a behind-the-scenes look at the event in the Big Apple.
BT Sport Box Office live from Madison Square Garden in New York, where down the years many of the greatest fighters in history have taken centre stage. It all adds up to one of the most anticipated bouts of the year. Pound for pound king Terence Crawford putting his WBO World Welterweight title on the line against the former unified 140-pound champion Amir Khan.
It's a huge challenge. He's been saying he needs that type of motivation to be victorious there. He's going to have to box better than he ever has before. This is not a question of winding back the clock. It's about being better than he ever has been. It will be one of the best victories of a British fighter on the foreign side if you can pull it off tonight.
Let's get it right. This is an extremely difficult contest for Amir Khan. He's in against a three-weight world champion, 34-0, 25 knockouts. This guy's on fire and he's in the prime as well.
Every loss he's developed from, and he's gone back and he's looked at why it happened and tried to improve from it. And Khan's shown a lot of heart for his career, and you can only admire that.
I've dismissed Khan, you know. He don't want to know. I've got no time for the guy. I'm here for Crawford. I want a champion who wants to fight the elite best out there, and I'm the best out there.
Some people call it the Mecca of boxing, the spiritual home of boxing. I just think it's the most iconic venue for boxing.
From the world's most famous arena, the former unified super lightweight champion of the world, from Bolton, England, Amir
Maybe, just maybe, Khan can produce one last great performance.
Universally recognized as pound for pound among the best in the world. Born, bred, and ripping Omaha, Nebraska. Terrorist.
An absolute cacophony here in the garden and the action underway. Great atmosphere.
It really is.
Now Khan goes to work. New York, a real fight city.
Oh, there we go.
Calm down. But is he giving it? Yes, he is. He's giving it as the knockdown. Calm down in the opening round. He looks across to his corner where Virgil hunts and says, keep your gloves up.
And it was the right hand that caused all the trouble. The shot we were worried about, the shot we were going off guns. And again,
he's been caught again and again. He wants to hold on, and he's in trouble once more as the bell goes to end. A dramatic opening round, and Khan knocked to the ground and gets the worst possible start. It's better from Khan. Looking for the big right hand again. This time, Khan just able to evade it.
Crawford wants Khan to attack. See, he's nicking the space with the front foot. Good shot by Amir Khan.
Khan will be maybe growing in confidence. Crawford switching to southpaw. Just flubbers Khan, who takes a right hand in the closing seconds. Takes it well, but it landed pretty flush. And a big right hand, and Khan's in trouble again, complaining about low punches. Nothing coming by way of help from the ref, though. 6th round. It's good again from Khan. A nice right-hand counter from Crawford. And there's one gone in low, and that was significantly low, I think. And you can see the effect of it. And the Khan supporters are unimpressed, to say the least. And the doctor's having a look up there, I think. It's been waved over. He said can't carry on. He said he can't carry on because of the low blow.
First of all, it wasn't a low blow. And second of all, Virgil knew the fight was going, in a bad direction, and he saved his fighter before anything bad happened to him.
It's one of the biggest fights of my career, and obviously just couldn't continue. I'm not one of them guys. I'd never quit. I'm not one of them. And it was a low shot, and I think I'm not seeing the replay yet, but I'd like to see the replay because I'm the one who took the shot, I would never quit. I'd rather get knocked out.
You didn't quit? Tell the truth.
Nah, I quit.
So what happened?
Quit. I'm telling you, I never quit.
What happened? You quit with a shot in the leg?
In the leg, it was in the balls. I mean, look, I'm not seeing the video or the clip of it, but it was a logo. I got the picture. If you guys think I quit, no problem. I'm never quit from a fight, but 100%. He's a great fighter. He beat me tonight.
Good luck, Sean, right here at BT Sports.